Once you have a group in your project, you might want to use that group as the basis for an overall layout, such as our condominium layout here, where we might want to have multiple versions of the same group on a floor plan. We could insert each group manually, but that would require some manipulations of rotating and mirroring and movement that would all have to happen independently. Instead, I'm going to use the mirror feature in Revit to mirror the instance of the group that I already have on screen directly and talk about some of the issues that we run into with groups when we do that. So I'm in a file called Mirror Groups, and I've got an instance of the group that we created in the previous movie and its attached detail group. And I'm going to select the model group first, and up here on the ribbon, we have two ways that we can mirror. And I'm going to use this Mirror Pick Axis option. And what that allows me to do is select an object that I already have in my model and use that as the axis of reflection for the mirror. So in this case, that will be the wall that's going to be shared between the two copies of the group. So I'm going to have one down below, and I'm going to mirror one up above. So I'll click this wall. And Revit will create a version of the group up above, and you can see it's a flipped copy of the original. And it also generates a warning. The warning that it generates is what Revit considers to be an ignorable warning, and that's because I could quite literally ignore the warning if I want to. But before I dismiss the warning, I want to just discuss what it's saying. You'll see that it's highlighted the shared wall between the two instances of the group in an orange color. And if you read the message, what it's actually telling us is we have two walls in the same place. And in general terms, having two walls in the same place is considered not to be such a good idea. I would agree with that sentiment, so it's definitely something we're going to want to address. But it's an ignorable warning because there's no button here, there's nothing I have to do. Simply by deselecting everything or clicking outside the warning, it dismisses it. But the issue is still there. And so what I'm going to do is zoom in over here and talk about how we can address that. Now I have a group down below, right there. I have a group up above. If I put my mouse right here where the wall is and press my tab key, it will highlight the other group. But if I tab a second time, it will actually reach into the group and highlight the wall that's inside the group. I'm going to click that. And then on that wall, a little icon will appear right here that says I can click to exclude this from the instance of the group. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. And what you'll see is that redundant wall gets removed, and I'm left with just a single wall here. I'm going to deselect. I'm going to zoom back out. And I want to select this group right here, go to the Move command, and I'm just going to move this up like so, just to show you what that did. Now, it's telling me that this room is not enclosed, and I'm going to ignore that for right now because what I'm more interested in is the fact that this wall has been excluded right there. You can see that we only have the one wall. So if I undo the movement, these two condo units are now sharing that wall in between, and that eliminated any error that we had and solves the problem. So let's zoom out again. I'm going to select both of these units now. And I want to mirror them to the right-hand side, but I have stairwells and corridors and everything over here, so I can't really use any of the existing geometry as a mirror axis. So in this case, I'm going to use this mirror command, the mirror draw axis, and that allows me to just pick 2 points on screen. So I'm going to pick my first point right about there, and I'm going to pull it straight down and click again. And what that will do is it will use that imaginary line I've just drawn as the mirror axis this time, and it'll mirror both instances over to the other side. Now, if I want to indicate just how far this is, the easiest way to do that would be with the temporary dimensions, but they're not currently displaying. Anytime the temporary dimensions don't display, you can use this button here on the options bar to force them to display. So I'm going to click on that and try not to get too distracted by the flurry of dimensions that appear here in the middle. The one that I'm interested in is this one right here, which is between these two walls. So if I just simply click on that, I can put in whatever number I want there. I'm going to make this a nice even 10 feet and press enter. I'll deselect all of that. And then at this stage, I could select all of these groups and add attached detail groups if I want to, like we talked about in the previous movie. And you'll see that it will add tags to all of the other instances. And at this stage, that pretty well gives me my overall floor plan layout. All that remains for me now is to come in and add the stairs and the corridors, and those are subjects that we'll tackle in future movies. So using the mirror command in conjunction with your groups is a really fast and efficient way to create a very complex layout very quickly from just a few instances of your groups.